Welcome back. There you have it. Those were the submissions and explanations by the Minister of Finance, the CBN Governor, and the FIRS Executive Chairman on the situation of things economically speaking. There's no need to say it anymore that Nigerians are not having the best of time right now as regards the economic situation. We have food inflation at about 33%. We have inflation heading to 30% at about 28 or 29% as we speak, and that is as at following the last MBS data. A new one will also be released, and we'll get to know what our fates are. But all in all, there's been increase across the board, and we've seen that every average Nigerian has felt that impact. What we just said there is those who are directly involved or directly responsible for this situation telling the people and the representatives of the people how they plan to get out of this situation, what they met on ground, and the implications for the policies that they've made and how it will affect the life of the average Nigerian. Well, joining me right now to speak on this issue and what Nigerians are going through and what the government is doing about it is Prince Ojoka Esquire. He is a lawyer, a legal practitioner, and a policy analyst. He joins me now to do justice to this issue. Good afternoon and welcome to the
Thank you, Mr. Amadin and the KAFTAN and TV family. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for coming. I think this is the first time.
Yeah, this year.
Okay, so
yeah, it's nice being here this year.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like I say in Nigeria, whenever you meet for the first time in a year.
Exactly. Happy New Year. So happy New Year to you and all members of the KAFTAN TV.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so let's start with the issue of the economy. That's what we're talking about today. I'm sure you've seen the submission of the ministers and the minister and the CBN governor. I'd like to get your thoughts as to what your reaction or your analysis of what the government is doing and what the people are experiencing. Does it tally?
All right, Mr. Amadin. I'm aware the National Assembly have summoned these people to come and tell them. I want to assume, like we all know, that they are representing Nigerians. And as such, whatever decision they are taking is for the betterment of citizens, which they so represent. Now, I can imagine that a country like Nigeria, with over 109 or 7 senators, with over 700 something House of Rep members, both at the federal level and also at the state level, will sit and watch what Nigerians are going through. I mean, common Nigerians, and they are comfortable. When they make provisions for their luxury vehicle, all the bulletproof vehicles, we cried out. We are like, you are okay. Even if you are buying petrol for 1,000 naira, there's allocations given to them, both for their newspaper. We give a common man allocation for ordinary rice to eat. I am telling you right now, we don't have free education. Just so that I don't deviate from the questions you just asked, these people should come and face Nigerians who are going through a lot and look at their face and make that excuses they are making in National Assembly. This inflation is as a result of the fuel subsidy. All this one they are saying the rate of this and all of that, it is based on the fuel subsidy. There's nothing wrong if the person can come back and say, look, I made a mistake. The fuel subsidy, the amount they spend in palliative is even more than the fuel subsidy that was there. You don't take petrol from 165 naira down to over 700 naira, and you expect that somebody who travel to buy a produce or who import produce, probably at the time when he was importing this produce, he pays 4,000, and today he pays over 25,000 to import the same produce. He's not going to sell it at that amount. He's going to consider his transportation first. I hope you get to my point. Now, in 2008, when I got a job with Aisha Chimogu, the first thing she asked me, where are you staying? I said, I'm staying in Buhari. It's okay, fine, young man. You check your transportation and tell me how much is your transportation. Then I will now know what to pay you. That is how it should be. Because the cost of transportation, even people that goes to work this day, it's not funny. If at the end of somebody pays you 50,000 naira, at the end of the day you spend 2,000 naira going to work, you would have probably spent about the days of the week, so 5 days working days, and then we are now looking at 22 working days or 24 working days. You probably had spent over 48,000 naira going to work. So what will you be doing with 2,000 naira? It is the transportation. There are things in the market, we understand, yes. It's not the shortage of food, it is the transportation that these people spend to bring their produce. How much you pay when you come to work these days? That is where the problem lies. Go back to the drawing board, look at Nigerians to the face and tell them that yes, you made a mistake. Yes, do your fuel subsidy. Because at the end of the day, you of course can afford this thing. What about the common Nigerians? While we are fighting here that we are looking for food to eat, that people are committing suicide because of food to eat, somebody used 2 billion naira to celebrate a birthday. Yes, it's her money, we understand that. Who am I to ask that question? But have we lost our moral conscience to feel the pains that Nigerians go through? Yes, in that person's capacity, she's trying her own way. She's not the government, hello. The government has a role to play, an integral role at that. What is this integral role to play? At our various communities, the government should be able to supply basic amenities. Now the government are saying that fine, they have the food reserve, which is in the midst of agriculture. They are going to release it so that Nigerians can have this food. What a funny thing to think of. The food reserve in the midst of agriculture, how many people do you think can benefit from that food reserve? It's a question we need to ask ourselves. And who are the beneficiaries? We have seen what palliative were giving to governors who diverted these things to their family members. Diverted palliatives. Of course, someone happened during the ESAs, that those were actually the target during the ESAs. Because citizens felt things that are meant for the citizens, you're not giving to them. And you keep making excuse. You go to television, you go to National Assembly, there's someone here, you go and you make excuse and read all those things in the paper. It is not what you read in the paper we want to see. It is how does the common man breathe. Let the common man breathe. The common man should be able to eat before the person can breathe. It's not just an air you breathe, it's food to eat to stay alive. You can bring that air. If you don't eat food for 1 week, my brother, the person is going to die. You see the breathing air with empty stomach, at the point the air you see is the food. So please, let's be honest with ourselves. Let them look at Nigerians and they have sympathy. All of this, unemployment, is ravaging the nation, insecurity is ravaging the nation. A minister could contribute money and give to kidnapper so that they can release the citizens. It's so a shame for me to think that I am a citizen of this country where citizens will be kidnapped and the kidnappers will contact their family members and the government will of course deceived us and told us that with the link of the NIN to our SIM card means that if you are kidnapped, for example, once there is a contact or a call, it can be traced through that NIN to see where this person is. It has happened to Omefele when his mother was kidnapped. They have to number the money that was given to the kidnapper for ransom, and they were able to get the kidnapper. What happened to other common citizens? Is it because he was the CBN governor? Do you know what people go through to raise this money to pay ransom? And then the PPRA of Lagos came out and said, look, paying ransom for kidnapping is a crime. My brother, if it's a crime, what happened to the police giving all the training, all the guns and everything that cannot rescue her own citizens that are being held hostage against their will? The government should be honest and tell themselves the truth. Look at protests in Niger State. Look at protests in Kano State. Look at the killing in Osun State and all of that place. For what? Hunger. A hungry man is an angry man. If Nigerians will have to face their hunger and then take their anger to the National Assembly, I doubt if they will still be sitting there making laws. At this time, let's know what we want. What we want is how does a common man breathe?
Let the poor breathe, let the poor eat. I think it goes hand in hand. But that being said, what did you make of the explanation in terms of some might call it excuses, some might call it rationale? The CBN governor said that or part of what's causing the strain on the naira is because Nigerians have spent over $40 billion on foreign education, medical treatment in 10 years. Now, I'd like to get your thoughts on this, especially the issue of medical treatment. What message do you think it sends when the CBN governor says this is part of what's causing the strain, and we have that the last president and this current president have spent so much time, or relatively speaking, out of the country, sometimes seeking care in one way or another. He said that the fight or the agenda to ensure that naira and dollar are not so far apart belongs to the responsibility that we all bear, and so we should do things that do not affect it. But then again, when it comes to medical treatment, we have that from the president. And I believe the other day, while one of the officials was speaking about this, this is not verifiable though, but we know that some of the people talking, their children also school abroad. A lot of the ruling class. So I'd like to get your thoughts on when the CBN governor says it is all our responsibility. Do you think the ruling class is getting enough or handling their own part of the responsibility?
Now, when I got my job as a private teacher to a big family, I mean a billionaire in this town, a long time ago, the first salary she paid me was in dollar. My salary was 30,000 naira. So my boss paid me $200. I'm talking about 2008. Now $100 then was 16,000 naira in the black market. 16,000 for $100. So my salary being 30,000 naira, if I exchange it to naira, it will give me 32,000 naira. So on that day when I went to work, I didn't even have transfer going back home. So I was angry with my boss, Dr. Aisha Chimobu, like, why are you paying me in dollar? I don't even have transfer to go home. I can't even give dollar to the taxi man, the normal beggar we say every time we enter back home. So please, I prefer you pay me in naira. And she was like, look at you, jokingly. Local teacher like you, I paid all my staff in dollars and they're happy. I say, ma, this is me. I'm an African man, proud of Nigeria. I prefer next time when you want to pay me in naira. He said, do you know that if you go and change this money, it's about 32,000 and your salary is 30,000 naira. Why is it important I bring this? It's just to let you know, just recently, how much was dollar and how much is dollar today. Oh my goodness. If I had known that this is what dollar would have become, I swear I would have allowed her to be paying in dollar. Today, the benefit of receiving in dollar would have been, do you understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. You can see how the exchange rate between naira and dollar, how the naira has this value. In fact, in law, we say the dollar has lost its moral conscience. The naira has lost its moral values. Lack of moral values is no longer in the naira when it compares to the dollar. Now, medical and educational tourism did not just start today. In fact, our politician, our president, starting from Amadin, who was the chief sponsor of traveling abroad to France, where the president just returned. Why would the president of Nigeria go on a personal visit for 2 weeks when people are dying of hunger, starvation, kidnapping everywhere, and he just get back to the country? From where? That's the point. From where? France. Did he trek to France? Well, did he went alone? He spent dollars when he was in France, not naira. So he is the chief. Do you understand? There was a time the president made a comment and said he doesn't encourage people to, jackpot to abroad. He jackpot to abroad. In fact, he's the chief beneficiary of abroad.
You're talking about the president? The
president. Well, yes, the president, of course. We were told that he studied in what's this country? He said
Chicago.
So he didn't even school in Nigeria. Hello, let's be honest with ourselves. Chicago. So he spent his time, he told the Nigerian how he worked in Chicago and all of that. So at the end of the day, he would have just been there. Because we that were born and raised in Nigeria that have never crossed outside Nigeria, we live with the pain. It has reached our bone. So we want a Nigerian-made president who can feel our pain. We will not run to go and spend a private visit in France when we are dying of hunger. You spend our money to go to hospitals in France. I went to a hospital just last week, for malaria, in General Hospital. I'm not going to call their name, but behind the scene, I can give you all of that details. I can bring my sleep. 5 drugs were given by the doctor for me to go and get from the pharmacy. Only 2, my brother. The H5, they work for us. In fact, the machine is not even working. I can call the name of the hospital. The machine is not even working to do ulcer tests. What causes ulcer, my brother? 80% of it is hunger. In fact, by this time next year, if we are not careful, almost 80% of Nigeria will be having ulcer. Because they are not going to eat their blood or their flesh. They are going to eat food. Can they afford this food out there? That's the point. And hospitals these days cannot even run tests. So whether it is under NHIS, or they'll tell you all their kit is not working, or they don't even have it. And 5 drugs were listed for me to buy. There in the hospital, they only had paracetamol. No anti-malaria. No antibiotic. That is the country we are talking about. And you think that one big man or one politician will allow his child to go to the Nigerian hospital When you have the resources, you can travel abroad and get all of that. If we cannot afford, we can't even give our own citizens ordinary malaria drugs, ordinary omeprazole for heartburn. Hospital don't have it. A government hospital. What a shame and what a pity. And you think that Nigerians will continue to fold their hands and wallow and die when they had the opportunity to jackpot? My brother, that is exactly why most of these people, of course, don't feel the pains we feel. Because at every slight, health challenge, they are in abroad. And who can afford it? Do you know how much is flight ticket down to France? With this dollar rate, want nothing less than 3 million naira to book for your ticket just to go to France. Can we afford it, my brother? Ask yourself. Even with your salary for 2 years, can you afford 3 million naira? But this money are changed to these people who allocate themselves with our resources, and people are dying of hunger. People cannot afford 2 square meal. Those days we were talking about 3 square meal. We can afford 2 square meal. If you are lucky to have breakfast, just wait till dinner. And is it up to the standard of living? I can imagine we are talking about 30,000 minimum wage up to this moment, and state have not even implemented 18,000 minimum wage. And these are countries that are civil service, because how many Nigerians today go into farming? How many Nigerians go into farming? Nigerians, if they are encouraging agriculture, they could go into farming and then harvest more of this produce. If government make available fertilizers, mechanized farming, and support the people. And chemicals, of course, that will help their crops to grow, and seedlings as well. So you're going to open the reserve. It doesn't help us. Empower the people. Protect the people. That's the essence of democracy. Provide and create jobs for the people. Nigerian population is growing every day. Who is going to feed them? Who is going to give them jobs? Because, of course, government are not even creating. So you can't give a law will say no more that can habit. You don't even know what you don't have. So Nigerians wait every day. Now, I posted this money of a secretarial job we want in the office. I'm telling you, over 50 persons have called. They are all qualified. Hello. For just a secretarial, just a secretary I need in the office. Over 50 persons, just in less than 2 hours, I made that vacancy available. That's to tell you the rate of unemployment in our nation. And they are all qualified. So by this time, when I'm having an interview with them by 10 a.m., definitely they would have been like 200 qualified for one position. And how much do you think we can pay? That's the point. And as I speak with you, I have to sort someone within, because what I'm going to pay is not going to be much. So the person have to be within, so that the cost of transportation, if most of them who call, I tell them, look, if you know you don't stay within this axis, don't even apply. Because what we pay cannot even carry your transport. Somebody in Manaba cannot come to Cuba and work. Because at the end of the day, they pay even 50,000 naira, my brother. You would have spent over 70,000 naira coming every day and going back. Because of the high cost of transportation. And every movement you do today is subject to transportation. So the food, even when we're talking about the dollar and all of that, we actually don't have business with dollar. I wish that I am the president. Many of these transactions we do in Nigeria that we use dollars is unnecessary. Don't we have our own currency? Can we encourage our own currency? If we have our university, we have our NYC that checkmate all of that and post them for you, then it should be enough for us to run our own resources. Our naira, of course. Today we talk more about dollars than talking more about naira. We give so much concern about the dollar. What is our business with dollar? Is dollar our official currency in Nigeria? Then why are we using the naira? Let's focus on the naira. It's the government that want to thief our money that focus on how they will pack excess of this money in foreign currencies. Because as I am today, if I want to take 10 million naira, my brother, people will know I'm carrying 10 million, because you know our money. But with dollar, I can put 10 million naira in dollar in my pocket. Nobody will know. My brother, in my entire life, I've not seen 1 million naira cash that belongs to me. Cash, I'm not talking about savings and all of that you have to labor, do a job and all of that. I'm talking about, but these people can at a city see 1 billion naira. So they mess up with this money, travel abroad with it, spend it on lavishly with their side chick. So basically, the ruling class, they are also responsible. The ruling class are the one responsible. It's not the common man. What is the business of the common man with the dollar? What is the business with the common man? Does not have anything to do with dollar. He doesn't use dollar to buy his rice and beans or garri in the market. He uses naira. He doesn't use dollar when he wants to enter vehicle from Lokoja, for example, to Abuja, or from Kogi State to Calabar. He uses naira. When his child go to school, for example, if his child school in University of Kano or Unica, is naira. So tell me where the dollar coming for the common man. Because the 5 basic amenities that we are going to look at is shelter, education, transportation. Are you getting the point? Health. These are things that Nigerians does not use dollar to do in Nigeria. He uses naira. So tell me the importance of dollar to a common man in Nigeria. So what the common man is asking is that if it is the 5 basic amenities we want to focus on, which is education, give us free education. They're not asking for too much. Or if it is the healthcare, give us healthcare that if somebody have malaria, you should be able to get drugs of malaria in our government hospital. That women we know, our mothers will not have to die, our sisters will not have to die because of childbirth. I hope you're getting the point here. It has nothing to do with dollar. I didn't use dollar to buy my clothes. You didn't use dollar to pay for the tailor that sew your clothes. Hello. You used your naira. So tell me, it is the ruling class who are busy talking about this dollar because they are the one who travel abroad for all of that. So when the exchange rate go, they are the one it's affecting. If not, tell me what we do with dollar now, my brother. My father didn't use dollar to train us in school. He didn't use dollar to pay house rent or even build a house. Hello, it was naira. And life was better when we focus on our own produce. And the government is here to come to terms that they have failed in the past and they are still failing because they have not learned from their mistakes. What was the essence of you sealing all the borders when you produce little things? You are blocking, you are banning rice. How many rice you produce compared to 250 million in our population that is still rising? And you are talking about inflation. How would there not be inflation? When at the end of the day, the things that we don't produce that were supposed to come into the country. Now, I just heard that now that he's stopping, is banning sachet alcohol. It's not our problem. Focus on what is more important. And Labour, they are protesting that why would NAFDAC, ban the sachet alcohol. Why would the same Labour not protest and go to National Assembly and say, look, it is the duty of government to provide these basic amenities, as so mentioned, which are the promises the government made when they are running for election. Of course, these are things that promise us. These are basic things that we need to live our lives.
Professor Ojoka, I believe you are speaking the mind of the average Nigerian. You're speaking on the issues and what they are facing. So I'd like to know how you would respond to what those who are saddled with responsibility are saying. They call a lot of numbers. Mr. Edun said about over, I think, $800–700 million was coming in as investments. And, they say a lot of things that the trained economists and the accountants and finance persons, probably they will see these things and maybe smile. But to you, an average Nigerian, when you hear these things, how does it make you feel? And what is it that you feel you could see or you could hear that will give you true hope that, well, okay, I think, based on what has happened here and here, based on what I noticed today, and based on what I saw here, I think we are going in the right direction. So even if I'm going through the pains a little bit now, I know there's possibly light at the end of the tunnel.
Now, it might interest you to know that most of our problem is not in what we bring. It is who are the beneficiaries of what policies we are bringing or what benefits we are bringing. In fact, in our former president's nature, we became those that were pitied. We became animadversaries. Because it was like we were begging China, we were begging France, we were begging UK, almost for everything. In fact, the kind of palliative we have received from foreign agencies, from foreign countries, from the UN, polio in Nigeria today is being eradicated by foreign agencies. Bill Gates Foundations and so many of them have given their life to the eradication of polio in Nigeria. And so are other countries. In terms of this insecurity we are facing today, Nigerians receive a whole lot of benefit from other countries. They gave us their best during the days of Muhammadu Buhari. And they have not stopped giving their best or supporting Nigerians to be independent of their own. How long do we continue begging somebody for things we can do for ourselves? We continue to beg them for things we can do for ourselves because we have poor leadership. These are things that are ordinarily okay. For example, let's take 2-case scenario. During insecurity, we are aware that there were gadgets that the Chinese people, of course, in partnership with Nigeria, let's take FCT as a case study, that they were going to install CCTV cameras. And a certain amount of money was budgeted for that project. up to this moment, my brother, can you say vividly that in public institutions or public places, these cameras by the government who partner with other countries, and then a whole lot of resources were earmarked in foreign currencies for this project has been executed? Nobody monitored all these things. It was not. And Senator Betty came out and said, look, somebody collected money for this project. How come this project is not seen? It's not felt. You can kidnap anybody today and nobody can track anything because these cameras are not anywhere to be found. And there was a budget for it. So, if you talk about benefits from other countries, we have received too much of it, but we don't utilize it. One person just sits and corner it, and that goes. And the highest is going to do is going to share with other criminals like himself. And these are the elites. Well, of course, is it me and you that go to discuss with China? Is it you and I that go to discuss with the UN? But you and I are the ones they show on TV to show that we are suffering. Please help our people. We show them pictures of those in Kano. We show them pictures of hungry Nigerians. We show them pictures of all of that. And then they say, okay, fine. We have seen your pictures of how your people are suffering. We are going to give you all the support. Give it to your people. Now, the government will take that particular help that they ask for and won't give it to the people. Even the one that they were supposed to give to the people, they don't give. So how much more they want to collect from foreign agencies? As we speak, a governor in a state, Kogi State, collect allocations every month for the federation account. Kogi State civil servant, teachers precisely, have no collect salary for December. I wonder if we still do investigative journalism. Because unlike what we do in journalism in the early stage of it, you take this fact and go and verify. EFCC cannot be looking for facts to prosecute the government. The facts are there. Just, make sure you find this. Now, this is February. If a worker is here to receive December salary, when some states had already paid December salary and also paid with bonuses, and how much does he even pay? He's still paying 50% of their salary. And then you refuse to pay even that 50% December, when people were supposed to be celebrating with their family. He didn't pay that. January, you know how hard January can be. Up till now, worker has yet to receive salary, and a new governor is in position, and he's shielding his predecessor. There's no check and balance. You can't be covering what is bad. Hello, go and spade a spade, even though it's your godfather. Otherwise, it will fall back to your own government. That's what APC did, and they shoot themselves on the foot. Look at the person, what is going through. It's not something that he created now. It's something that happened under the time of Amadin Buhari. But at the end of the day, they are still the one in governance. Now, with all of that, instead of saying so many of these things that was done to the people of Nigeria by his colleague, last we say my learned colleague, in fact, his learned colleague, fair Nigerians, and he came with renewed hope agenda. Is that how to renew the hope of Nigeria? Where he now took fuel from 165 to over 700 naira, and the whole of transportation has skyrocketed, that every movement you do, you're paying with, you know what I'm talking about. This is not renewable agenda. This is not let Nigerians breathe. If Nigerians must breathe, there's nothing wrong for the person to say, okay, fine, I made a mistake when I say, okay, no more fuel subsidy. If you cannot bring policies or bring public transportation that can ameliorate the suffering of these people, what were the things that the president put on ground before he can remove fuel subsidy? That is the same mistake the government continue to make. The policies are not people friendly. It doesn't favor the people. Is government supposed to be for the people and by the people and for the people? So if government is no longer for the people, the common man, then we don't need democracy. So probably we need the military to come and say, okay, fine, no more INEC, no more ministers and all of that. The military will take over and give Nigeria this basic amenities. My brother, as it is now, even if it is the devil that will come and provide basic amenities for Nigeria, give them food, give them jobs for the unemployed, protect them from kidnappers. My brother, I'm telling you, that devil will be better than the politicians we have.
Well, you've segued into where I was heading, the issue of politics, because when we talk about governance, when we talk about the state of the nation, these things all came about because there was a political cycle, there was a campaign, people campaigned and they emerged, and now they are in charge. I guess I'll review this on air. Actually, I got my permanent voters card from you. Of course, you were volunteering, I believe, with INEC. Yes. So I believe you've seen some of the other side of things that people might not be privy to. How do you think people should approach politics? I say this particularly because the by-elections and reruns just held, and we still had some level of voter apathy, people not turning up. What's your advice?
Before I talk about the rerun election, the by-election, by-elections only happened because there was somebody somewhere that failed to do what is right. Apart from the fact that some persons died, some persons were given other appointments, but majorly, this by-election, 80% of them were court cases. Some court nullified, some appeal court and all of that, and then court said, look, but should court be the one to determine who will vote? When last year February, when they were getting ready for the presidential election, the like of you came to me when I was a volunteer for INEC to get your permanent voter's card because you had passion to vote. Nigerians came out passionately to vote, got their PVC. Come and see how Nigerians were. Oh man, I've never seen people that are so passionate for good leadership. And at the end of the day, all of that was jettisoned because their hope, so long as I'm concerned, was dashed. From the primary election, it was 40 for all the political parties because it was the highest bidder. And like I said, if you compromise the primary election, you've forgotten that that primary election is where the aspirant becomes candidates for the general election. So having compromised their system at the primary election, they gave us a package and tell us that he was going to give us a renewed hope, cleaning the mess done by previous administration under the same political party. Well, either we accept it or not is a case study for another day. But here we are with reality. It doesn't matter now who is the president. What matters now is, can Nigerians fit? Can Nigerians go to school? Somebody's child cannot write WAEC now as we speak because the parents cannot receive money to pay the WAEC fee.
So what can Nigerians do?
Government cannot even pay ordinary WAEC fee for its citizens. What will it cost the government to say, okay, as long as you are ready to go to school, in order to support education, WAEC should be free? We're not talking about lip service. We're not talking about playing politics. You can't be playing politics with everything. Make it free. So that when you go to a particular school of your choice and you want to write WAEC and say, I want to write by WAEC, I want to register in this school to write WAEC. What's the person fail to do? The person has a ministry can go and report that school. All you need to do is to say, okay, fine, go and get this receipt from this school that you want. Then government will do all of that. Now, for example, now, all of this is not done. There's no check and balance. If you encourage people to go to school, don't you make provisions for them to go to school? If you encourage people to, get a job, you should be able to create a job. As I speak with you, by next month, a whole lot of Nigerians will be graduating will be passing out from LIC. By Wednesday next week, a lot will be going for youth service. Who is going to employ them?
Indeed, you've raised very concerning questions. I hope we get answers to these and we get reactions and actions from the government. Thank you so much, Prince Ojoka, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Amadin. All
right, that's how we end the program for today. Don't forget, the Polity reaches you live from Abuja every weekday, Mondays to Friday, 2 p.m., 3:30 p.m. Tomorrow, Mercy Babajide will be here with you once again to discuss on politics, governance, and the state of the nation. Have a nice day. Bye for now. I am Amadin Ogbewe.